All right, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, we've got some black-yellow Gecko Moria action lined up for you. That's right, OP-14. We're going to be going through all of the new leaders from OP-14 over time here. We've already gone over Black Crocodile, we've gone over Blue Jinbe. Now we're going to be going over black-yellow Gecko Moria, and then we got 4 more leaders to go over after this. So let's go ahead and hop right into it. Very fun, interesting leader for today that has to do with KOing your own characters, similar to Crocodile, but I think this leader has even more ways of getting them out of the trash. So let's go ahead and hop into it. It's going to be a very standard layout. We're going to check out the deck list first. We're going to break that down, and then we're going to head over to the sim. We got 3 games to go over on the sim, and then we'll finish up by we'll recap, and I'll tell you what I think about this leader moving forward. Okay, so I will have everything time-stamped in the general description, and I'll have all relevant deck lists and links and stuff like that in the comment section below. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comment section below, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. This video is brought to you by Nin Garden. For this week only, Nin Garden is running their Black Friday sale. Every item in the store is discounted up to 30%. And you can save an additional 10%, making it up to 40% total by using my code, the VV Theory, at the checkout. All right, guys, let's go ahead and break down the deck list, starting off with the leader. Gecko Moria is a 5,000 power, 4 life, black and yellow, 7 Warlords of the Sea, Thriller Bark Pirates type leader. With the effect, activate main once per turn. You may KO one of your Thriller Bark Pirates type characters, and then your leader and all of your characters gain plus 1,000 power during this turn. And then we have a when attacking effect that says you may trash 3 cards from your hand, guys. 3 cards from your hand, and then add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life cards. All right, so we're going to run through the entire deck list. Be sure to pause and read everything as we go through them if you don't know what they already do, or if you don't know what they do already. So we're running 4 Victoria Sindri, running 3 Inupe, 2 Gigaro of the Wind, 2 of the OP-06 Black Dr. Hogback, 4 Gecko Moria, the 6 cost, 2 8 cost Crocodile. Guys, anytime I'm running black, I just have to run this card. I just like it too much. Then we're running 4 of the 2K counter Kumasi, running 4 Absalom, running 4 Sindri, running 4 of the yellow 4 cost Dr. Hogback from OP-14, running 4 Perona, running 3 of the 8 cost Gecko Moria, running 2 9 cost Boa Hancock, 4 of the 1 cost searcher event called Hurry Up and Make Me the Pirate King, and then 4 Thriller Bark Pirates, Thriller Bark stage. So guys, we do have a lot of cards to talk about in here. I'm not going to really cover all these older cards. Sindri's just a 2K counter. Inupe's a nice on-play and on-KO draw 2, trash 2. Very strong card in the deck. Gigaro of the Wind has an on-KO to buff one of your leaders or characters by 1,000 for the turn. Dr. Hogback grabs cards from your trash. And then this is the PRB02 Gecko Moria. That's really powerful. That can pull a 4 cost out of your trash and give a Dawn to your leader. Okay? We've talked about Crocodile enough on the channel, but be sure to pause and read this if you don't already know what it does. This card is probably very optional for the deck, but I have to say, guys, this card goes very, very well with our strategy that we're going to talk about in a minute with Perona. Okay, locking down our opponent's attacks. We can do that with Perona early on. We can bring it back, so on a 4 Dawn turn, going second, right on our turn 2, we can play out Perona to lock down their character. Next turn, we can attack in with the Perona and then KO it with our leader effect, play out the Gecko Moria, getting back the Perona to lock down their attack, and then on the next turn, on our 8 Dawn turn, we have Crocodile to lock down an attack, and then KO the Perona again if it survived. So, honestly, this Crocodile was pretty good in my testing, guys. It seems pretty good. Okay, now we're running the 2K counter Kumasi. Now, let's read what this trigger does. Okay, for those who are not completely familiar with OP-14 cards yet, there's a new Thriller Bark Pirates type of trigger in the game. So that's something that Bandai likes to do, right? If we look at Big Mom Pirates, something that they came out with a long time ago when they first introduced yellow into the game, it was with the Big Mom Pirate stuff. And most of the trigger cards in that deck that were characters had a trigger like this that said you may discard 1 card from your hand and play this card. Okay, then they ended up going into a Land of Wano type of theme, where it was built around this Kikinojo, where it was, if your opponent has 3 or less life cards, play this card. There were a lot of cards like this for the Land of Wano package, like Nekomamushi and Inarashi. Then they also went into an entire phase of Revo Army style triggers, like this, where it says if your leader has the Revolutionary Army type and the total of your and your opponent's life cards is 5 or less, play this card. And we saw that all over the place for yellow for Revo Army. Well, now we've gone into the OP-14. Let me just go to OP-4. Whoops. That's not 14. That's 12. There we go. OP-14 for yellow. And now we have this brand new trigger for Thriller Bark Pirates. And it's play up to 1 Thriller Bark Pirates type character card with a cost of 4 or less from your trash rested. This Kumasi has it. This Absalom has it. This Victoria Sindri has it. The Dr. Hogback has it. The Perona has it. And then Gecko Moria has a even better version where it just allows you to play up to 1 character card with the cost of 4 less from your trash, period. No matter what type it is. It doesn't have to be Thriller Bark type. And it doesn't come into play rested. Boa Hancock has a very strong effect as well. Play up to 1 character with 6,000 power or less and a trigger from your hand. So I would say that in this deck, Gecko Moria and Boa Hancock's trigger are pretty much the exact same as far as power level goes. And they're both very, very strong. We'll talk about them more in just a minute. Okay, so we're running 4 of the 2K counter Kumasi, right? Now, we're running 4 of this Absalom. They all have this same trigger we just talked about, the new yellow Thriller Bark Pirates type of trigger. But then all of these cards that we're about to look at, other than Sindri, this Absalom, this Hogback, and this Perona, these all have very powerful on-KO effects we have to talk about. And remember how the leader works. We have an activate main to KO our own Thriller Bark Pirates type characters. Okay, so very, very powerful synergy and interactions here. So Absalom, when he gets KO'd, you can do a top 3 search for a card that, with the type Thriller Bark Pirates, and then, hang on, let me just read it. On KO, look at 3 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 Thriller Bark Pirates type card and add it to your hand, then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. One thing that's really nice about on KOs in the game of One Piece, especially when you can activate them yourself with a leader. I'm not even talking about that part of it. But no, just in general, what it means is I can just attack with this character, and I don't really care if it gets KO'd, because now I'm going to get some, I'm potentially going to get even more value from it now that that's happened. They didn't attack into my leader, so I'm saving a life card, and then I'm about to activate an on-KO effect. So that is one thing that is really nice about on-KO effects in the game of One Piece, is just being able to just throw your characters in. Just throwing them into the fire, and you're going to get some kind of value from it either way. Because you're attacking in for 5, either taking one of their life cards or taking a card from their hand, and then when they attack into it, you're saving a card, and in this case, you're drawing a card with the on-KO top 3 search. Okay? Then we have Sindri. This is just a nice utility blocker here. It's a 3-cost, 1,000 power, 1K counter blocker. That's all it is, and it has the Thriller Bark trigger. Okay, then we have Dr. Hogback. Now, guys, this card is really, really solid. 4-cost, 5,000 power, 1K counter. Okay, on KO, play up to 1 character. Play up to 1 character card with a cost of 4 or less and a trigger other than Dr. Hogback from your trash. So notice that part. It's kind of confusing, right? The on KO doesn't have to be a Thriller Bark Pirates card. So we could try to add something like Kikinojo in the future. But for the time being, I didn't really have time to mess with all that just yet, but maybe in the future we'll have to consider it. But for now, consider what you can get back, guys. You can get back any of the cards we just looked at, other than the stuff that's, obviously 5 cost or higher, like the Gecko, both the Geckos, the Crocodile, and the Boa. But imagine this. You can get back this searcher here, this blocker here, and notice it does not play it rested. It says play up to 1 character card with a cost of 4 or less and a trigger other than Dr. Hogback from your trash. So you get to play it out. So if they KO this card, or if you just need to KO this card to get a character out of your trash, then you're getting a card back active. And the next card that this goes with perfectly, it is so strong in this deck, guys, is this Perona. This Perona, I think this might be the most valuable card in the entire deck, because it's not the strongest card, but it's the most valuable because it's going to get you into the late game. It's going to shut down your opponent's attacks. This is a 4-cost 5K with a 1K counter with an on-play and an on-KO that says up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 6 or less. Not base cost, by the way. That is relevant maybe in the future. We might want to mess around with that. but up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 6 or less cannot attack until the end of your opponent's next turn. And then, of course, it has the Thriller Bark trigger. Guys, this card is insanely powerful because understand what's going on here. If you need to, you can just pay 4, on play, lock down their 6 or less, and then KO the Perona to buff your board with your leader's effect, and then lock down another one of their 6 or less characters. Okay, that alone is already very, very, very strong. Okay, you're shutting down 2 attacks, and you're buffing your board, and you're getting a card in your trash that you can then pull back with Dr. Hogback, Gecko Moria, or the 8 cost Gecko Moria later in the game. We'll talk about this card in just a minute. So this Perona is, I would consider this the single most important card in the entire deck. I think it is that strong. It is of utmost importance to get this card as soon as you can, and you want to start trying to cycle it. I would try to not even leave it on the board so it can't get bottom decked against a deck that's running like blue or something. I would try to use it as soon as possible, get it straight into your trash so you can start reusing it as soon as possible. Because with this card, you can lock down their attacks, you know, just back to back to back. And like I was saying earlier, guys, imagine if you go, okay, going second on a 4-dawn turn, you play out Perona, lock down their attack. Next turn, you only had to not lock down probably 1 attack then, right? Okay, next turn, they're on a 5-dawn turn, and we're going to our 6-dawn turn. No problem. I'll swing for 5 with Perona, then I'll sacrifice the Perona, pull it back with Gecko Moria. I just locked down 2 attacks, and I'm going to be swinging for 7,000 with my leader now, because this Gecko gives me a Dawn, and then KOing this card with my leader's effect gives me a Dawn, or gives me a 1k, 1,000 power for the turn as well. And then on the next turn, you just go, okay, again, if this Perona survived, you can lock down an attack again with it after swinging, buffing your board up, and then play out a Crocodile on your 8-dawn turn and lock down another attack. It just becomes a lockdown control deck, guys, and it feels very good when it starts popping off. I think if we can get this to synergize just right, it could be very, very good for us. Okay, so that's the entire deck list. Oh, just kidding. We got 2 other very important cards to talk about. We have 8 cost Gecko Moria and 9 cost Boa Hancock to talk about. So guys, Gecko Moria in this deck, so we have an 8 cost 10k, it has the trigger we already talked about, and then on play up to 1 Thriller Bark Pirates type character card with a cost of 4 or less from your trash, or add it to the top of your life cards face up. And it doesn't play it rested if you play it onto the field. So again, guys, even if we don't draw into the Crocodile, we can just pull back this Perona and lock down their board again, okay? And then we can KO it with our leader effect to buff our board and lock down another character. You see where this is going, guys? This is like a lockdown control style deck, and I'm really loving it. I'm hoping that they continue in this direction with this black-yellow 7 Warlords Thriller Bark package in the future. Okay, and this is an 8 cost 10k. Okay, so we dropped this down. We've developed a massive body. We've also put down another body that could potentially lock them down, or maybe we needed a blocker, or maybe we just needed to gain a life. You know, we'll put a card into our life. It's just so solid, guys. And this card is, the on-play effect is locked to a Thriller Bark Pirates type character card, but remember, the trigger for this character is not. The normal Thriller Bark Pirates trigger is, but Gecko Moria's is not. Okay, and then last but not least, we have 9 cost, 10k, Boa Hancock. On play, if your leader has the 7 Warlords of the Sea type, yep, that's right, guys, Gecko Moria has the 7 Warlords of the Sea type, okay? Add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life cards, so gain a life, and then add up to 1 card from the top of your opponent's life cards to their hand. They burn a life. Now, yes, they do get to take the card to their hand, but it doesn't matter. You played out a 9 cost 10k, you gained a life, they burned a life, and then if you needed to gain a second life for the turn, guys, you might be able to just trash 3 cards from your hand and go from there. So there's this card right here is actually very strong for finishing the game out for us, because it allows us to almost time skip a turn, because we burned up their life and we gained a life, and then we could just attack into the turn after that. It's not a big deal. So this card, guys, really, really solid. Okay, that's enough yapping about this list, guys. Actually, I tried to end early twice now. There's one more thing I want to say. Typically speaking, we want to go second. Just like I was saying, guys, you want to go Perona, 6 cost Gecko, 8 cost Gecko, or 8 cost Croc, and then 10 Dawn Boa Hancock. And then on 2 Dawn, we can play out the Sindri or the Inupe. Jigaro of the Wind is more or less a combat trick we can pull out of our trash later on with Thriller Bark and get some extra value from it in that way. That's all that this Jigaro of the Wind is for. It's going to be a 1 cost investment with our Thriller Bark stage to pull this card out of the trash, or with the stage we can pull out the Inupe or Sindri to help fill up the trash or fix our hand with Inupe. But later in the game, we want to pull out this Jigaro of the Wind, and with this card, We just want to KO it immediately with our leader's effect. You pull the card out, you KO it. Now your Gecko Moria is going to be a 7,000 power attacker, or you could give the 1K, the 1,000 power boost to a character as well. But the point is, you're going to get the extra power there. Your board's buffed, and you can just start attacking in super aggressively, all for a 1 Dawn investment from your stage. Okay. So again, we want to take second as much as possible, and the next thing we probably need to work on in this deck in the future is maybe including a really solid 5-cost card. Just to kind of help out our going second curve. Our going first curve. Because going first, we have a nice 1-drop with Sindri or the stage. That's actually completely fine. And then going into Absalom. Again, just absolutely solid start. But then going into our 5 Dawn turn, we don't have anything. We're just stuck playing out a 4-cost card. Now, we have some very good 4-cost cards to play out, like the Hogback, the Perona, and the other Hogback. However, it would be nice if we could play something out like that has the most bang for our buck that we can play out for that turn. And we do have some decent options, by the way. We're running a lot of triggers in this deck. A lot of triggers that we want in our trash that we can pull back later with effects like Dr. Hogback or the Gecko Morias. So using a card like Nami in this deck is probably not terrible. Maybe in the future we'll try to include a few of these as well. We'll have to see. I'll try to save that to the end, though. Okay, or save that for the end. Now, that's all I got for this part. We're done yapping. Now let's head over to the sim, and let's check this deck out in action. All right, guys. First game up we have against Blue Jinbe. Let's get the volume off. Let's get the speed on 2x, and here we go. All right, Jinbe. Very tough leader coming out of OP-14. Very fast blitz-style deck here with Jinbe. So we're going to go first this game. We play out the Sindri. They follow up with a Chew and a Hatchan. We're going to go ahead and trash the Sindri just to kind of fill up our trash even more. We're going to swing for 7 into 5 because of trashing the Sindri. We got plus 1k. We're going to play out the stage, playing out the Sindri, filling up our trash even more. We're trying to get some good targets in our trash for later on in the game. They're going to swing for 5. We have 0 counter power in hand, but we get a Kumasi trigger here, a Thriller Bark Pirates trigger. We're playing out the Perona, locking down their Hatch hand. That's the card we want to lock down because it has an Dawn ×2 on KO to draw a card. Okay, we're on a 5 Dawn turn, and we got another Perona. That's actually very, very nice. That's very nice. We're going to KO the Sindri to buff our board, and now we're going to swing for 6 into 5. They're going to take it. We're going to go 6 more into 5. Let's see if they choose to take this. They're going to 2k counter out. We're going to play out the Perona, locking down the Aladine. Sorry if I messed that up, guys. I still never got the confirmation on how to say that. Someone told me it's like Aladdin. Is that how you say it? I don't know. Either way, then we're going to play out the Anupe from the trash, fixing our hand. We have 2 characters sideways on the board, but we have 1k counter in our hand right now. My opponent could probably try to potentially go for lethal this turn if they wanted to. Okay, a 5k attack to start, which is normal. That's usually how they start off. We're going to answer that with a 1k counter. They're going to go 5 more into 5. We're going to take that. Never lucky. We didn't get a trigger. It is what it is. But now we are definitely about to eat up this board, right, guys? This board is about to get eaten up. Okay, they're going to go 6 in. We got a 2k counter, I think, did we get that from what we drew? Hang on, pause. Is that what we got? I got to go back, guys. I do apologize. Okay, when they attacked in, we got very fortunate with that. Whoops, there we go. So when they attack in for 5 here, we had to take that, and it was a 2k counter that we actually got for the turn. Because, guys, we just didn't see any 2k counters. We recycled the same Sindri twice, and we just didn't get to any 2k counters. Like 2 times we cycled through, and I guess maybe we missed some 2k counters in there. And we'll also have to do a count to see how many 2k counters we're running in the deck later. I think we're only running 8 right now. We might need more. Okay, so we go 3 into 3. They just let that go. Very wise decision because we're not going to let any, we're just going to get rid of the card eventually. So we're going to KO our own Perona to buff our board, locking down their 4 cost. We're going to swing for 6 into 6. These pesky 6k attacks, guys, these are annoying, okay? And now we're going to play out the Gecko Moria, playing out the Perona again to lock down their next biggest target. We get a Dawn on our leader. We play out Jigaro of the Wind, and now we're swinging for 7 into 5. Guys, look at our board. They don't have 2 attacks this turn. Those 2 characters you see, they can't even attack with. Okay, they're going to bottom deck our 2 cards there. That was pretty good. That was pretty solid, guys. All things considered, that was pretty good. They're going to play out Chew. They're going to trash a card. They're going to attach 2 to their Arlong, and they're going to go 5 into what? 7. They're going to go 7 into the leader. Guys, we're going to have to go for lethal next turn. He's going to go 7 more into the leader. Yep, we have no choice. We take it. And it's time to go for lethal this turn. We don't have any other choice, guys. We're kind of at that point. They've gone so aggressively into us, and we have such little counter power in this game. We're going to have to go more aggressively here. Okay, we're going to start off with a 6K attack because I've been attacking with a lot of 6Ks. I'm hoping he's running out of cards in hand, 2Ks in hand. Nice. Okay, he did get a Perfume Femur trigger to draw a card there. We're going to sacrifice. We're going to KO the Jigaro of the Wind. We're going to buff our Anupe by 1. We're going to swing for 7 into 5. He takes it. Now we're going to go 5 into 5 just to get a card out of hand, and we're swinging for 11, guys. That's all we got. We have no other choice. Hey, he's got it or he don't, okay? He's got it or he doesn't. 11 into 5. He only could get to 9. GG to our opponent there. I guess we technically could have tried to go one more turn, but look at this, guys. Number 1, he has a Perfume Femur in his hand. Okay, so maybe we could have tried to go for the board. I guess we could have KO'd our Perona to lock down his biggest attack again, take out the Arlong on the board. He'd have 3 attacks left after that, and we could play out a black Moria, excuse me, a black, not black, the yellow Gecko Moria, not the black one, the yellow one. Play out the yellow Gecko Moria, and we could have gained a life and then attacked in, and we could have trashed the Anupe, the Gecko, and our event to gain a life as well. That's another option we had, and then we would have a 2K and a 1K left in our hand. So that's one option. That's one option we had. It was probably our best option, and, you know, it is what it is. And to be fair, the more I think about it, guys, we actually could have, with our Gecko Moria, we could have attacked with our leader first to put a card into our life with the effect. And then when we play out the 8-cost Gecko Moria, I think we could have put a trigger into our life, which could have pulled a Perona out of our trash and locked down one of their characters, right? So I guess maybe we could have actually played for 1 extra turn, but either way, guys, I felt like I had attacked for enough 6Ks, and I saw a 2K on the board as well, so I felt like, you know what, maybe I can punch through if I get through with this 6K, and we can go from there. So either way, good game to our opponent. Let's move on to the next one. All right, next up, we have a game versus Purple Doflamingo. Okay, volume's off. Let's go full screen. Speed's on 2x, and here we go. Okay, we're going second this time. Very nice. We're going to start off with a search. We find the Thriller Bark stage there. We're going to play out a Sindri just to fill up our trash a little bit. And now we're going to pass the turn to them. They're going to ramp it on to go up to 4. They're going to swing for 5. We're going to take it. We get a trigger to play out a 4-cost, you know, one of our Thriller Bark Pirates characters. We got a Thriller Bark Pirates trigger. That's the best way to say it. And now we have a 4-cost Dr. Hog back on the board that has an on-KO to get one of our characters back from the trash as well. So our board is starting to get very strong. Okay, we play out an Anupe to fix our hand a little bit. Then we KO the Anupe to do a draw 2, trash 2. We're going to trash 2 cards. Watch this, guys. We're not done. We're going to swing for 6, and then we're going to swing for 6 more. We're going to play out the stage. We're going to play out the Anupe again from the trash. That's one of my favorite combos with this package here, guys. Playing out an Anupe, KOing it with the leader, playing out the stage, replaying the Anupe. That's a draw 6, trash 6, guys. That's a draw 6, trash 6. Okay, so right here, I think I have a bit of a play mistake. Watch this, guys. We do things in the wrong order. I KO'd my character first and then start attacking. I think I could have done this slightly better. Actually, that part was fine. Watch this. Here's what we should have done, though. So we swing it for 6. They swing it over to Dellinger. That's completely fine. We swing in for 6 more. And then I think, okay, we play out the Gecko Moria. And we're going to play out the Hog back. We're going to pull 2 cards to the bottom of our deck with the effect. And then grab a 2K counter to our hand. Yep, probably just the Kumasi there. And then we'll swing for 7. Actually, maybe it's the next turn. I think there's a turn coming up here, though, guys, where I kind of messed up a little bit. Because that turn actually seemed fine. That turn seemed completely fine. All right, here we go. So they're going to swing for 6. We're going to 2K counter out of this with the card they know we have in our hand. They saw us get the 2K counter back with the Dr. Hog back. So we get that card, you know, we counter out with that. So that now they don't know it's in our hand. Okay, so we're going to KO the Sindri right away. Our entire board is buffed by 1,000. And just here come the attacks, guys. I swing for 6. Watch this. I see a Nora Beam Sword in their hand. They have 2 Dawn up. So we're going to do things in a very specific way. I'm showing him, oh, okay, 6K, 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 right? Watch this. We swing for 8. We go out of order. He plays the Nora Beam Sword. He rests out our Hog back, and then he has to 1K. Guys, pause. That was a greedy play. He should have used that Nora Beam Sword to counter out of my first 6K, because then it would have been a 7K, you know, plus 2K completely fine, and then he could have locked down my 8K, and he could have gone from there. But he was trying to wait to the last second to make the right decision, but we caught on to what he was doing. Now, one thing to consider, guys, Nora Beam Sword can only rest down characters. It cannot rest down a leader. That's why I did it in that order. Okay, we kind of tricked him there. We caught him, you know, red-handed, he had to give us 3 cards to get out of that 8K attack or go down to 0, because then we would have just swung everything in with our leader to finish off the game. Okay, here we go. So we play out the 8-cost Croc. We lock down his biggest attacker, and they immediately quit, guys. I couldn't even pause in time. Okay, perfect. We just went back to a perfect timing. So this is what happened at the end. We were locking down their biggest attack. We were going to pass the turn back. The game was definitely not over. They could have tried to swing all out on the next turn, but it probably wasn't going to be pretty, because remember, we have 2 life, and they only have those 3 possible attackers on the board. That the 8-cost Doflamingo has been shut down. That card cannot do anything this turn. They cannot attack or anything. So even if they tried to get... First of all, we have a 2K and a 1K coming out of our life. So the way they could have split their Dawn was maybe swing 7/7. That would have been 3 Dawn. And then they would have had 7 Dawn left to swing for 8. So they could have gone swing 7, swing 8. Well, we're going to be able to get out of... First of all, we can get out of the first 7, and then we probably can't lose, period. But we could have baited them fully into attacking into us, and we could have gotten out of the 8K attack with the 2K we get out of our life. So, either way, good game to our opponent. It's pulls like this, guys. I think what you're going to see with this next game against Gecko Mihawk, there is some lockdown going on, and I'm a big fan of that with this Gecko Moria. I did not foresee this leader turning out this way. Okay, good game to my opponent. We got one more game to check out here. We got a game of green Gecko Mihawk. Volume is off, full screen, speed on 2x, and here we go. Okay, this was a very fun game here, guys. This was a very fun one. Okay, so we're going to be going second. They went turn 1 Perona. We go turn 1 Stage. They're going to swing for 5 here. I can't counter out with the Absalom. Notice I kept clicking it. There's no 1K counter on the Absalom, so I had to counter out with the Dr. Hogback. Not ideal, but it happens. So now we get the Sindri afterwards. We're going to go ahead and KO the Sindri to swing for 6, and I think we're just going to play the Absalom here, guys. We're just going to play it from our hand. We don't have a great target to pull out of the trash with the Thriller Bark Stage, so we're just going to play out the 3-cost 5K from hand. Okay, here we go. They're going to play out the TCG, and then they're going to rest their Perona to stand 3 Dawn as active. That's with their leader's effect, of course. They're going to swing for 5. Okay, so we're going to take that hit. We're going to get a Dr. Hogback from the trash because we got a Thriller Bark Pirates trigger. They're going to go 6 and a 5. Okay, pause. So, guys, they attacked into the Hogback, who has an on-KO to play a 4-cost from the trash, right? So we play out the Perona. We lock down the TCG. That character couldn't attack this turn anyway, but hey, now we got Perona on the board. Now they're in a little bit of trouble. That Hogback, guys, that yellow Hogback is so strong. All right, so we're going to go 5 into 2. Let's just get these cards off the board. I'm going to get rid of the Perona to lock down their TCG. And, guys, spoiler warning, I don't think they're going to get much value from that TCG this game. Spoiler warning. Okay, so we play out the Gecko Moria. We're going to pull out a Dr. Hogback, another card that they can't really KO, or it's just going to punish them. So, and then we swing for 7. They're down to 3 life. Next turn, we have the 8-cost Gecko Moria follow-up. Guys, my opponent is in a large amount of trouble. All right, here we go. They play out a second TCG. Okay. They're going to tap the TCG that cannot attack to stand 3 down with the leader. They're going to swing in for 7. We take it. We're down to 2. All right, no problem. Here we go, guys. Y'all ready for this? We're going to play out the 8-cost Gecko Moria, pulling back the Perona, locking down a TCG. Then we're going to KO the Perona, locking down the other TCG. And now we're going to swing for 6. We're going to swing for 6. And then we're going to swing for 8 into their 8. I'm just trying to get every card out of their hand right now, guys. And now we're going to swing for 6. They're probably going to take that and go down to 2. So, guys, we're just trying to eat their hand up. They're down now they're back up to 6 cards, but we had them down as low as 4 cards last turn. They can't attack with either TCG, guys. It's so brutal. They can't attack with either one of these TCGs. All right, so here we go. They play out the Gecko Mihawk. They're going to lock down my 8-cost Gecko Moria, of course, standing 3 Dawn is active. Just waiting for them to do the effect here. Okay. Now they're going to swing for 7 into what? They go 7 into 7. You're not getting that card. All right, so here we go, guys. Watch this. We have to do things in a very odd order here, but I think you'll see what's going on. It's unfortunate the way we had to do this, but it is what it is. So we play out the Gecko Moria. We're going to attack in for, or excuse me, we attack in with the Gecko for 7 into 5. They take that. We play out the other Gecko Moria, pulling the Perona out over the 6-cost Gecko, locking down both attacks again. Locking down both attacks again. We're coming in for a bunch of 7s here, and then we're just going to go next turn, guys. Actually, we might just be able to go for a game. We're going in for 7 here. Can he get out of this? Because remember, guys, he only has 2 attacks next turn. He only has 2 attacks. We can't attack with the 8 cost. All right, now we're coming in for 9. Let's see if we can get out of it. And we gained a life, by the way. I gained a life just in case because I wasn't sure. Okay. They counted out of it. We're at 3 life, but they only have 2 attacks. They only have 2 attacks, guys. What are they going to do? This is brutal. They play out the 10 cost Lawn Beppo. Okay, their leader's 7,000 power now, but how are you going to get out? And remember, guys, let me pause and talk about the game's pretty much over. Let me pause and talk about it, though. When you stand on with Gecko Mihawk, I believe the way it's worded is you cannot play any characters for the rest of the turn, so they can't follow up with a blocker, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, that's nice and all, right? So you locked down my guy again, and then they can also attack in with their, excuse me, they can attack in with their 9-cost, Gecko Mihawk into what, right? I don't even know, because if they attack into my Gecko Moria, excuse me, not my Gecko Moria, my Dr. Hogback, I can pull a card out of the trash. Okay, I'll have another attacker for next turn. And then they can lock down the 6 cost. How are they going to get out of this, right? That's kind of the idea, is there's just no way to get out of this. So, guys, they're going to come to the same conclusion here in a minute, and they're pretty much just going to concede. Yeah, pause. We have Perona coming out of trash, or excuse me, out of life. We have a Inupe and then a Dr. Hogback. So there's just no way out of this one. They're in too bad of a situation. What they could have tried to do is, they don't have a blocker, right? That's the problem. Because next turn, hopefully you guys see what I'm going to do, right? If they cannot get rid of this Gecko Moria right here or lock it down with this this Mihawk, which they could. So let's just say they do. They have no blocker. They only have 3 cards in hand. So what we would be able to do is KO one of our characters with our leader's effect. Now we have a 6,000 power leader, and we can swing for 16,000 into 7,000. So the Dead Man's Game gets them up to 10, and then even if they had 2 2Ks in hand, that would only get them to 14. So even if they had even if they had 2 of the 1-cost 3Ks, that would only get them to 15. If they had a 3K, 3K, 2K, you see what I'm saying? So I think the only way they could get out of it, let me do the math here. Even if every card in their hand was a 3K counter, a 1-cost 3K with the 3 Dawn active they have, 3, 6, 9 plus 7. That puts them at 16K, and we're attacking for 16K. So literally there was not a way out of this one. Hey, it is what it is. Good game to my opponent. Hopefully you guys are seeing something here. This leader has a lot of lockdown control, and I am here for it, guys. Goes wide on the board. It just pesters your opponent, gains life. Big fan of this leader so far. Okay, let's go back to the deck list, guys, and we'll wrap this up. So, like I said, the Perona is just simply the MVP. And then, of course, all the cards that pull it back, like the Gecko Moria, both Gecko Morias and the Hogback. Yeah, just being able to recycle this effect over and over and over again becomes really, really tough for your opponent to deal with, let me tell you. Maybe a card we can work into this deck in the future, maybe like a 10-cost Kuzan would be insane, because then we could hit any character in the game with this Perona. And maybe that's what we need to do in the future. Because playing out the card I'm talking about, guys, let me show you guys real quick. The 10-cost Kuzan. This card, I'm not sure if I said that or not now, but this is the card I was talking about. If we play out the 10-cost Kuzan, we play it out, we KO a 5 or less, and then guess what? We can attack in with the Perona and then KO it with our leader effect. And now we just lock down a 10-cost character, or an 11-cost character technically. So it's just like, okay, that's outrageous, right? That's insanely powerful. We'd be able to, take out 2 targets at one time, and then on the next turn, if we can follow back up with a Gecko Moria, yep, lock 2 down again, and then lock 2 down again. It just becomes, if we can recycle these Peronas enough, I think we can just buy enough time to win games. Where at that point, the only thing that can really stop us are the characters that are super tall, like in the 10 cost range. And for something like that, maybe we just need to find a way to do like a -4 cost in the deck so we can hit a 10 cost target as well. Maybe we need to add like, let me see, there's the 4 cost, first of all, there was the 4 cost Kuzan we just saw right there. But I was going to say there's the 4 cost Shirahoshi. Whoops. There's 4 cost Laboon that does -4 cost. There's the 4 cost Kuzan we just looked at. There's the 4 cost Shirahoshi. Why can't I find it, guys? Here it is. This 4 cost Shirahoshi is a blocker that -4s. This could be an option as well. And I think it's smart to stick to a 4 cost or lower target because certain cards in this deck can actually bring these back. Like this Gecko Moria right here, this card can actually bring something like that back, right? It says if your leader has the Thriller Bark Pirates type, play up to one character with a cost of 4 or less from your trash rested. Okay, so on a 10 Dawn turn, what we could potentially do, if we need to, this is just an option if we need to do something like this, on a 10 Dawn turn, we can literally play out the Perona, the 4-cost Perona, either from our hand or from the Gecko Moria's effect, and then play out the Shirahoshi from the other effect, as long as we had, you know, one or the other. And now we can hit a 10 cost with this effect now. You know, the first one, whatever target we hit with the Shirahoshi, and then afterwards we can still hit a 6 or less, you know, when we bring it back. It's just an option. I'm just kind of giving an idea, guys, because then you could KO this card with your leader's effect and hit a 6 cost or something. So really, really good stuff. What else? Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it, guys. Another option we could run is like the Rebecca. You know, there's a lot of, well, there's not a lot of black targets in the deck from Rebecca because we can only hit characters that are 3 to 7. But there are 2 very relevant targets in here in the 6-cost Gecko Moria and the 4-cost Dr. Hogback. Those are pretty decent targets for sure. But another target we could potentially add in the future is, of course, the 3-cost Hina from the Navy package from way back. What was it, ST06, I think? Yeah, this card right here. This is another decent card we could add that we'll be able to hit, you know, higher cost targets with later in the game with our Perona if we need to. So yeah, that's really about it. Other than that, I would like to see a decent 5-cost option for us to mess with. Let me bring up the black and yellow cards. We probably don't want too many 5-cost targets in the deck. One option I was thinking of was the Nami we mentioned earlier in the video. Maybe this Boa Hancock could be interesting. I'm not sure. What else? Some other, by the way, some other just decent targets to add to the deck that I'm just now thinking about this, guys. I don't know why I didn't think of it earlier. Is something like this 6-cost Kuma. This is an option as well. I just forgot to run in the deck. So this is another card we could add to the deck. Yeah, guys, there's just so many options with what we have here. We have so many cool possibilities. But back to the 5-cost stuff. Maybe this Nami could be decent because it has, you know, you may turn one. It has on play, give up to 1 rested Dawn card to your leader. Then if your opponent has 3 or more life cards, your opponent adds 1 card from the top of their life cards to their hand. So that's a whole nother thing we could explore with this deck, guys, is a way to pretty much, you know, KO, or excuse me, to burn up their life. And then we also have an on KO on this. You may turn 1 card from the top of your life cards face up, play up to 1 character card with 6,000 power or less from your hand. So even if they KO this card, we'll be able to hit almost every single target in this deck other than the very top end stuff, these 4 characters here. So that's another option. What else? That's probably the best ones I can think of off the top of my head. But those are already some pretty good targets, guys. Those are pretty good. Another decent option, I will say, is Calgara or Sabo. If we had more ways to draw cards in this deck, that would be nice. And I think Calgara could be a good option for that. Or maybe even the 3-cost Joribani. This card right... Let me see if I can find it, guys. I might just have to... There it is. Okay, this card right here. This is a 3-cost 4K with a 1K counter. Dawn times 1, your turn, once per turn. When your opponent loses a life, draw 2 and trash 1. And then trigger, draw 2, trash 1. So this is yet another target we could potentially try to pull off in the deck. You know, for, you know, some cards will be able to pull this back, like we were saying. With, you know, this Gecko Moria can pull a card like this back. This Gecko Moria's trigger can. The trigger on Gecko Moria and this Boa can as well. Let me see. Play up to 1 character with a cost of 4 or less from your trash. Yeah, so you would be able to pull a card from your trash with this Gecko Moria. It could even be the 3-cost 4K Joribani. Or this Boa can pull it from your hand. So, yeah, we got some options there. We got a lot of stuff to think about. Like I was saying in that first game, guys, I think we're only running 8 2K counters in the deck. Maybe we need to go up in counters. We're not running all that many bricks, but I guess we are if you think about it. I don't like to count searchers as bricks because they're searching right away. Even if you hit them from your life, they end up searching for a counter of some sort. So I don't count the searchers as bricks, but we are running, let's see, we got 5. Plus 6 is 11, plus the stages. We have about 15 bricks in the deck. Oh, and Absalom. So we actually have about 18. So we'll have to mess around with that. One thing we'll have to consider is, are the stages worth running? The Inupe trick we pulled off earlier was very powerful, but was it necessary? Right? That's what we have to really ask ourselves, is how important is it? And another thing we have to consider, one more thing I just thought about this too, guys, is if we're going to keep the stage in, we might want to really consider running something like the 9-cost Stussy to cash in on the extra value later on. Now, it's true that this does not KO a character, so it doesn't have perfect synergy with our kit, but it doesn't matter. On a 10 Dawn turn, we can pay 1, bring out an Anupe from the trash, and then trash it again. It won't get its own KO effect, but who cares? Because then we're going to be able to KO whatever we want to with the Stussy. So there's another option we have to consider there. All right, I'm done yapping, guys. I feel like I can come up with ideas all day with black-yellow. Those are my 2 favorite colors for any of the new listeners out there. Yellow and black, those are my 2 favorite colors in the game. I've been waiting for a very strong black-yellow leader to pop up. That was not black-yellow Luffy. I did not really care for that leader that much. Not to say it was a bad deck. It was very strong. It was just a weird style that I didn't really care for. But this right here, guys, this is way more up my alley here. I'm a huge fan of this. All right, I'm done. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell me what y'all thought in the comment section below. Let me get the outro on here. Guys, if you are liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing my stuff, using my TCG Player affiliate link, if you're donating through Patreon or PayPal, if you're a Playmat supporter, a YouTube member, or part of the Discord community, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. And, yeah, this community is amazing. Hope y'all enjoyed. Till next time, peace.